Hello everyone, this is S.S. Sarnobat, Associate Professor, Mechanical Engineering Department, D.Y. Patil College of Engineering. I am presenting this video as a part of 4-week International FDP on Environment and Sustainability. The topic for today's presentation is Estimation of Carbon Footprint for Foundry. A brief overview of the previous two videos, that is week 1 and week 2, are as follows. In week 1 video, the various environmental issues related to the manufacturing firm were discussed, whereas in week 2 the various ISO standards which are applicable to manufacturing were discussed. The need, scope, focus and applicability were presented, along with the two specific ISO standards for manufacturing, that is ISO 14001 and ISO 20140-1. The outcome for the today's presentation will be: first, identify the processes in a foundry that impact socio-ecological systems. 2. Able to recognize the range of impact of these processes on environment. 3. Understand the need to assess and quantify the impact of the carbon emissions and its activities. 4. Identify the boundary of the carbon footprint. 5. Classification of the different emissions of foundry activities. 6. Collection of relevant data for estimation of carbon footprint. 7. Estimation of carbon emission based on the collected data. And finally 8. Developing strategies and plan to reduce carbon emissions. The various IEEE and ISO standards which are available to be followed for environmental and sustainability are mentioned here. One is the IEEE 1526203. This standard deals with testing performance of the PV system and gives a method and procedure to determine the PV system and conduct the design verification. Next ISO standard available is ISO 17225-1 2014. This ISO standard deals with testing performance of biogas. This series is made for biomass which may be used as fuel for heat and electrical generation. Next ISO standard available is ISO TC 238, which encompasses standardization of terminology, quality assurance, test method of raw material and process material. This standard is applicable for biofuels which are used as a source of energy. Next ISO standard available is ISO TC 301, which deals with standardization in the field of energy management and energy saving, which is applicable for energy management and energy saving as already mentioned. Next standard available is ISO TC 207, which deals with standardization in the field of environment management systems and applicable to the whole environment in general. Coming back to the current topic, that is estimation of carbon footprint from foundry, we all know that energy on the earth comes from the sun, and this is required to sustain life on the earth. Gases such as carbon dioxide and methane naturally occur in the earth's atmosphere. These gases are called as also greenhouse gases, and they have a blanketing effect on the planet which causes warming effect. Hence this phenomena is known as greenhouse gases. However, due to the industrial revolution in past 200 years or so, the industrial activities of human beings have led to rise in the total amount of greenhouse gases due to particularly burning of fossil fuels like oil, coal and gas for energy and heat, as well as land clearing and agriculture. This deforestation and emission of carbon gases from the fossil fuels has led to a warming of the planet, which is normally termed as global warming. Now, with respect to foundry, the emissions of the foundry can be classified mainly into two, that is related to substances listed in the pollution inventory that may directly cause harm to human health or to the environment. Second is the greenhouse or carbon emissions which affect global warming and contribute to climate change. So the carbon emissions will typically include carbon dioxide, CO2, methane, CH4, nitrous oxide, that is N2O. Along with this, some synthetic gases like hydrofluorocarbons, sulfur hexafluoride, carbon tetrafluoride, and hexafluoroethane are also included. Now, for the purpose of estimation of carbon footprint, it is required that the various emissions that occur or take place in a foundry activities are classified into three types. So, as per the guidelines, these emissions are classified into three types, that is type 1. These emissions are directly associated with the business and its activities or manufacturing activities and are directly attributed to the facilities of the foundry firm. Second type are the emissions which are associated with the business but they are not in the control of the business firm, like use of electricity which was generated elsewhere from burning of fossil fuels. And type 3 emissions, these emissions are incurred by third parties and not directly attributed to the business firm involved, and these emissions involve typically like business travel, accommodation, paper and water use. Type 1 emissions are within the direct control of the business, as already said. Type 2 and type 3 emissions are beyond its direct control. These are the table shown here shows the various foundry activities which are directly attributed to the firm and which are also indirectly attributed, and they can be classified into type 1 or scope 1 or scope 2 emissions, which can be referred to while calculating the carbon footprint. Now, why to measure the carbon emissions in the foundry? That is the primary question. So inherently the foundry process is an energy intensive process. That means that it takes considerable energy to extract ore from the ground, transport it to the steel and metal production facilities. It then takes high temperature and special conditions to create steel and other metals and alloys. By the time this product arrive at the foundry, they have a significant, what we call it as embodied energy. Now at the foundry again, it takes high temperature to convert these solid products into molten form so that they can be cast into molds to make items usable for wide range of application. After being also, most of the material is again recycled, that is way back into the foundries in the form of scrap metal, which is reintegrated into the production process. Foundries are critical to the circular economy of steel and metal and therefore have an important role in the sustainable development. Now when we go for calculating the foundry footprint, carbon footprint, we need to decide upon which parts of the business to be included, that is called as the organization boundary, which emissions generating activities to be included, like metal related activities, the processes and activities associated with the use of metal within the foundry, sand related activities, that is use of the sand for manufacturing the mold, and facilities related activities, that is associated with the office and the administrative functions. We need also to decide upon which emission sources to be included. Now the priority to include the emissions depends upon the type of the emission. So the type 1 emission, which we have already discussed previously, that is the emissions which are directly associated with the foundry firm activities and are directly under the control of the foundry firm. They have the highest priority for the business to measure. Then the type 2 emissions, that is the next priority, those arising from the business use of electricity, and business can exert some influence over the quantity and timing of their use of grid source electricity, and also change the mix of electricity such as on-site renewable energy. Type 3 emissions are the most complex group of emissions because they are very indirect and it is very difficult to determine the sphere of control of their business, and hence they are difficult to quantify and measure, as I have said. A typical energy consumption in the foundry, that is the direct activities, is specified here. Melting of the steel or any other metal composes 35% of energy consumption, which is a major percentage. Then plant actuation activities consume 13%, air compression activities 8%, heat treatment activities consume 6% of the energy, tool heating consume 33%, and sundry activities or other activities constitute to 33% energy consumption in a foundry. Now calculating the actual emissions. So type 1 emissions, direct emissions that arise from combustion of solid, gaseous or liquid fuels, and these can either be stationary, that is natural gas that is used in the site in a foundry, or for transport, that is diesel used in trucks or etc. Now for calculating the direct emission from combustion of these fuels, emission factors are expressed as a quantity of emission per unit of energy, that is in kg CO2 equivalent or gigajoules. The emissions are calculated by multiplying the quantity of fuel combusted by the appropriate fuel specific emission factor by a fuel specific energy content factor and a fuel specific emission factor. This will be discussed in the next slide. What is a emission factor will be also discussed later in the discussion. So we see that the formula for calculating the carbon footprint for type 1 emissions is E is equal to Q into EC into EF into bracket, that is for CO2 divided by 1000 plus Q into EC for CH4 divided by 1000 plus into bracket Q into EC into EF N2O divided by 1000, where E is the emission of gas type, that is carbon dioxide, methane or nitrogen oxide from fuel type. Then Q is the quantity of fuel type in tons for solid, cubic meter for gases. EC is the energy content factor for fuel type in gigajoules per ton or cubic meter, and EF is the emission factor for each gas type as already mentioned. Now type 2 emissions, which are not under the direct control but they can be estimated in CO2 equivalent. The formula for that is Y is equal to E into bracket Q into EF divided by 1000, where Y is equal to type 2 emission measured into CO2 equivalent tons, Q is the quantity of electricity purchased in kilowatt hours, and EF is the type 2 emission factor. Now that since the type 3 emission factors are the most indirect and the most complex, it covers a potentially wide range of emission source and calculations based on different guidelines, and they are not the topic of today's discussion. Now for calculating the direct emission, that is a type 1 emission, let us see a case study. Let a foundry facility consume 1 lakh gigajoule of natural gas. Then from the reference table, the energy content factor of natural gas measured in gigajoule is 1, and the emission factors for natural gas are methane is 0.1, carbon dioxide is 51.4, and nitrous oxide is 0.03. So as per the formula mentioned previously, we have emission for carbon as per the formula Q into EC into EF for CO2 divided by 1000. So that gives us to be 5140 ton CO2 equivalent. Then the emission for methane, as by using the stated formula previously, which comes to be 10 ton CO2 equivalent, and emission of nitrous oxide comes out to be 3 ton CO2 equivalent. So the total emission of type 1 in terms of tons of CO2 equivalent comes out to be emission of carbon dioxide, emission of methane, and emission of nitrous oxide added all three. So that comes to be 5140 plus 10 plus 3, that is equal to 5153 tons of CO2 equivalent. So this estimation case study we have seen for the type 1 emission, where the consumption of energy for manufacturing process is associated. We can also have similar type of calculation where we can have consumption of energy for transport of material in type 1 emissions. So let us see another example associated with this. So this is case 2, estimation of emission, that is type 1 emission from consumption of transport fuel. Now let us take an example where the consumption of fuel required is 1 lakh kiloliter of diesel for transport for a particular foundry firm. The energy content factor for diesel is 38.6, and the emission factors for diesel are carbon dioxide 69.9, nitrous oxide 0.5, and methane 0.1. So as described previously, a similar type of calculations can be done, and we can have the emission of carbon dioxide as 26981 tons of CO2 equivalent, emissions of methane as 39 tons CO2 of equivalent, and emission of nitrous oxide of 139 tons CO2 equivalent. So the total emission for consumption of diesel for transport in terms of tons of CO2 equivalent comes out to be emission of carbon dioxide plus emission of methane plus emission of nitrous oxide, which comes out to be 27213 ton CO2 equivalent. So these two case studies we have seen for calculation of carbon footprint for type 1 emissions. Similar, we can have an example to estimate the type 2 emissions. That is, the type 2 emissions, as stated earlier, are not in direct control of the manufacturing firm or the foundry firm. So we take an example here that where a company consumes 1 lakh kilowatt of purchase electricity from the grid. The emission factor for grid source electricity is 0.82 from the reference tables. Therefore, using the formula, that is for emission of greenhouse in terms of tons of CO2 equivalent, that is Y is equal to E inside bracket Q into EF divided by 1000 bracket complete. We substitute the values for Q as 1 lakh kilowatt, emission factor as 0.8, we get the solution as 82 tons. Therefore, total type 2 emission will be 82 tons of CO2 equivalent. Now, as stated earlier, the emission factor is a very significant term in calculation of carbon footprint for foundry. So the emission factor is a factor that enables a unit of activity to be converted into weight of carbon dioxide equivalent emitted per unit of activity. These emissions are incurred at the power station due to burning of fuels like coal, natural gas, etc. to make the electricity. These are provided in kilogram of CO2 equivalent per unit of electricity. So emission factors are available for type 1 emissions, type 2 emissions and type 3 emissions from standard reference tables and can be appropriately used for calculation of carbon footprint. Now once the carbon footprint has been determined, now the next comes to be developing a strategy for minimizing this carbon emissions, and ideally the foundry should move towards what we say as a sustainable foundry. So in total 6 steps are required to make a foundry sustainable. So first is avoid, that is avoid altogether the emissions. How this can be done? This can be done by reorganizing the production various functions. Then it can avoid energy losses by introducing new furnace designs, improving efficiency through better design holding equipment design, and drop temperature overnight and overweek. Second is, if it is not avoidable, then you have to minimize. So we can minimize the energy consumption. There are certain ways and means described here, that is by fine tuning gas burners, avoiding or plugging in the energy leakages around furnace and compressor or air lines, synchronizing preheater operation with the furnace to avoid oxidation, energy losses, and upgrading the reverberatory gas furnaces. Next step is reuse. So we can reuse the energy by using waste heat to preheat metal for melting, capturing wasted energy being lost in hot fuel gases to preheat charged materials. We can also reuse the energy by utilizing the heat in the hot fuel gases from melting and holding furnace to provide the energy for preheating systems. Next step is we can switch over to renewable energy sources by installing rooftop solar panels. Further, energy can be stored by using carbon sinks, and last is offset, that is by purchase offset. So in today's presentation, a detailed description of the various emissions occurring in the foundry are stated and elaborately discussed, along with the various activities which contribute to the emission. Then the classification of the emission in the various class, that is type 1 emission, type 2 and type 3 emission has been stated. A detailed estimation of type 1 and type 2 emissions has been discussed along with relevant case studies for each of this type, and a comprehensive strategy to make a foundry sustainable has been discussed at the end. So thank you, and thank you once again.